Thank you, Chief. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you.
Before we interview the boys over here, I'd like to thank our special food sponsors from Princess Bay, my hometown. How was the food, fellas?
Delicious.
You know, these guys didn't have to do it. I'd like to thank Jerry from Cigar and Bagels in Princess Bay. He made a big guitar for us and put a chicken cutlet on it. It was really great. And I'd like to thank Serto's for giving us a big platter of food.
Yeah, they gave us like a big bagel with a sandwich.
Everything. What else we got?
Fratelli's Pizzeria and Restaurant and Cigar Shopping Center.
My good friend John.
Thank you very much.
So,
it was amazing. We had the broccoli robin sausage.
Tom Lorenzo.
Good.
Johnny P.
It's always a pleasure, my friend. How you doing?
Good, very good. These are my band members, Adam Tranquilli, Adam
What's up,
Kiefer.
boys? How's it going?
Hi.
We're going to call the Adam Smashes, but, you know, just stick with the other name.
Tom's.
Yeah. The Atom Smashes, yes.
So listen, you've been very low-key with us for a while. You've been out of town. How long has the band been together, and what have you been doing?
I've never been anywhere, pal. I just went to find another band playing in Jersey. So
yeah, that's cool, that's cool.
We're kind of like bi-state based, you know. That's why I'm coming on your show. Thank you for having me, of course. But I mean, want to expose us to the island. We already did Lemoore one time in last June, but we want to play some more shows out here.
Well, by late May,
I know there's a metal crew out here somewhere. I just got to find them.
By late May, we're going to be airing in Manhattan. So Manhattan will see you. 5 boroughs.
Thank you, pal.
What do you got? Talk to me.
I've been making records and been doing some cool shows with these guys. We've been doing a lot of stuff underground, like bands like Death Angel and Immolation. If you guys are into the underground thing, you know who those bands are. Grave and Goat Whore, bands like that, heavy Satan bands, I guess.
Satan bands.
But yeah, that's our stuff. That's what we play, man. We're into that kind of heavy stuff. Right. You can tell we're not a hair band.
Oh, that's cool.
You're going to be playing March.
Yeah, you know.
Aren't you guys?
I gave it all the time.
Aren't you guys going to be playing in Allentown coming up soon?
Our next show will be March 15th. Actually, the first one since last June. We've been a little, you know, things have been going a little rough for everybody in their personal lives, but everything's cool now. Everything's rocking. Okay. And yeah, it's going to be a show with a band called Incantation. I believe first time in like 14 years these guys are playing. From what I understand, they're a big band back in the 90s, I guess.
Do you know there's not one band that maybe one band you said that I'd never heard?
It's all underground heavy stuff.
The heaviest I got into was Pantera and Metallica, but that's, I know there's a major market
Death Angel,
for that.
You must have heard of from the 80s. We did
what
a
I
show
heard,
with them about 3 or 4 years ago at Don Hills. And you know what? I never saw them back then, and I never really got into them. And when we played with them, man, I couldn't imagine. They're amazing, amazing heavy band. They're like Metallica on steroids. You know what I mean? I got to give them a lot of credit. They're like a great band. And they got back together recently. We did a show with them in Milwaukee. We went out to Milwaukee, did the Milwaukee Metal Fest a few times. And local, we did the March Metal Meltdown. Actually, Tribe of Anger was on one show on Friday.
We actually got the drummer of Tribe of
Saturday
Anger.
night.
We got the drummer of Tribe of Anger.
There you go, Neo's up there,
Good
man.
friend of ours. Come on, give him a hand.
What's up, bro? My drummer for 8 years, man. 8 years. Proud of what I did with him. Great stuff I did with Mio. Excellent stuff.
And we got to thank you. We
might be coming back with them. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Let me talk for 1 second, and you can talk. I got a bad enough time talking anyway, but we have to thank Crusher, Richie, for his PA system that he brought down here.
It's going to sound great tonight, man.
He's going to be the new sound for the Late Night with Johnny P show in the future.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So, go ahead. Catherine, take it over.
Tell us how you guys met. I
met these guys actually through a mutual friend. I lived in California from 88 to 90, and I actually bumped into a drummer that I went to school at. I went to a music school out in L.A. And these 2 guys wanted me to do a Motorhead song with them. And we got to rehearsal, and I go, "Where's our drummer?" And he goes, "Oh, I'll be right back." And he went into the drum labs that they had at the school, and they come back with this guy, Rob Pilata, was a friend of mine. He's played in some bands. I don't know if you heard of Brock's Casket Company.
Yes, back in the
Dee Dee Verney's band. No, this is just recently. Dee Dee Verney from Overkill had a band.
But listen, that was, what was that, the Music Institute?
Yeah, Musicians Institute. Yeah, BIT, GIT.
Yeah, those are big schools.
Yeah, it was cool. Great place. And I met Rob, and we've been friends ever since. Actually, this year's 20 years I know him. And I saw him at a show about 5 years ago, and he said he had a friend who was playing like old school kind of thrash speed metal, and he needed a bass player. So I hooked up with these guys, and the rest is kind of history.
That's good. We tried out another bass player before that too. I don't know if anybody else. Tony Bono from Whiplash.
No.
He died.
Whiplash is another. Yeah, early 80s.
Right after we
really?
tried him out.
Yeah. I remember I was friends with Tony too, actually.
What did he die of?
You know,
he was a young guy. He was like 39 years old. He died.
Okay.
He had like a heart attack or something.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
But I knew Tony. He's a very mellow dude. I mean, he was in a
was
band
real
Into
mellow.
Another, if you remember them from like the mid-'90s, kind of like an alternative band.
You know what it is? Once the alternative came out, I kind of lost the
Yeah, yeah.
music scene and just started doing my own music and just stayed with my old, what I grew up with, the basic.
Oh, I'm with that too.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
We all grew up with Kiss, man.
Kiss, Zeppelin, The Who,
Yeah. Well,
Stones.
That was cool stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys just came back from Poland. You were playing in
No,
Woodstock.
this just happened 2 years ago. That
2
was
years
2005.
ago.
Yeah, that was in
Oh.
August 2005. We went out. Another, we had a friend of ours. This band we knew was a bunch of Polish guys. They were born out there. We played some gigs. We knew them from the studio. We rehearsed at. And one of their buddies worked for a charity organization that runs a Woodstock every year. They even had a fountain to make mud. It was
Really?
ridiculous. I only saw one naked guy, thank God. But it was 350,000 people. It's the largest open air festival in Europe. It's free, so I guess that's why. And it's right on the border between Germany and Poland. Kostrin's the name of the city, right on the river. And the guy loved us, and he brought us out there, and he got us a third to the headliner spot.
I'm telling you, I saw that clip. We're going to be watching
So
that clip
imagine
in a
being
little
on
while.
that stage. It was
$350,000.
It was 350,000 people.
But that was great.
Yeah,
that was
it was like a
unbelievable.
10,000
Dream come
person
true.
mosh pit. It was just
I
stupid.
never seen anything like it. You know, it was amazing. It was. I mean, you just saw
Yeah, it was
people
just.
like.
You know, there was like
far as
500
you could see,
lights
you know.
on the stage.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it
Must
was-
have been hot.
No,
Actually,
it was
worse
actually,
than that
it was
night.
the beginning
It's a
of
heavy
August.
breeze.
It actually was pretty cold. It's kind of like our beginning of our fall there. Because you're not too far from like the Baltic Sea and stuff when you're over there. So
Nice sights. Did you guys sightsee or anything?
you know what? We had the blast. We did 3 shows. We did a little show. My favorite show, actually, the second one. Only 20 people were there, but I had a good time with that one. And then we did a third one, and then we went right home.
Went right home.
So it was 6 days.
And you were
It was
telling me that you've been through 11 countries?
No. We
That's out of
we
nine.
flew
Oh,
into
you guys
Boston.
did
These
11.
guys back in the '90s, they had a band called Headlock.
Right.
Actually, I gotta say, Adam was in a
talk
band
about
called
that.
Blood Feast.
Blood Feast.
From the '80s.
Right.
Kind of an
Playing again,
influential
too.
band on a lot of death metal and speed metal stuff that came out in the early '90s. And he had it in like bands like Obituary, and like I said, if you're into the
toured with
heavy
Death
stuff,
Angel
you'll
and
know.
Death. We played
you
with
know,
Death
Death,
on our
and
very first tour.
these guys kind of look at them as like an influence for what you know. Adam was like wrote the lion's share of the vocals and the music for the band, and he was this is his band as well. He does a lot of all the writing for the band. He's the brainchild for this band. It's more of a mature version of Blood Feast, I'd like to say. And they also had a band back in the '90s called Headlock. They did a tour in Europe, and
We were out there with MOD.
yeah,
a
MOD.
band from,
Adam played drums for MOD for a little
yeah.
while.
also,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah, Billy Milano.
But yeah, actually, the guy that played bass for them, he manages now bands like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco.
He's making all the money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's like a
He's doing
manager
good.
now, so he.
He's good at.
But yeah, I've met the
Good
guy
guy.
a few times
Yeah,
and
yeah,
told him,
he's
I'm
good
playing
guy.
with these guys and
Well,
stuff.
to get
but-
away from that for a minute, what about back in the day? Tell everybody about the Wave and the bands that you played with from back then.
Well, me, I was in a band with John Brulo from No More Tears, if you remember a band called
Black?
Soundscape Black.
We
was
played
in it.
together with Ace Frehley.
Yes, we did.
That's
right,
man.
Johnny.
That's
I
right.
remember that show, man. It
Let
was
me
cool.
think. When
I
was
remember
that?
playing- I played
was
back
that
then.
April 23rd?
Barrage, Soundscape Black, and Ace
April
Frehley.
23rd, 94.
Was it 94? I don't
If I
know.
remember
That was a
from Staten Island,
madhouse that
back in
night,
the day
bro.
was Billy O's, right?
Well,
Billy O's.
that's a different one. That was the Rock Palace.
So the Wave was down on
Turn.
Bay Street.
Right, but I just remember.
Billy O's is
way
over
back
in
the day.
Mariners
Ace
Hall.
never played the Rock Palace. Peter Criss did, but Ace played the Wave.
And we opened for his band
Oh, yeah?
and
Yeah.
my band with John and
Yeah, that was a good night.
Joe Amadei and Vinny Fidelli rounds out the band.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that band too. That was a really great band. But
That's actually how I really hooked up with Richie Scarlett that night.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew me before, but in '94, we had a long talk. We hung out afterwards, and he became my producer after that show.
and I just remember waiting like 2 hours after the show to meet Ace, and he never showed up.
Yeah, he was a little.
I heard he was falling down in the
Yeah, he got a
bathroom
little.
or
He
something.
got a little.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
partied a little that night. But,
Yeah, that was good. That was a great show, man. I had a great time. Well, I remember
Dean Holterman.
Dean. That was the good old days, man. I wish I knew these guys back then.
If Dean's
man.
watching, Dean.
That was even before Tribe of Anger. That time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time.
Tribe of Anger hooked up in '96. So. You know.
You guys started when we started. We came out in '96.
Yeah. No. Well, Soundscape Black came out like '92
I'm talking
or '93. Yeah. We were
NYB
kind of
96.
Yeah. Oh, you changed it from Barrage to
Yeah, well,
NYB.
it wasn't even a change. It was half the members of Barrage.
But it was
formed
Barrage, and then he called it NYB, yeah.
Yeah. So
So we did a show together.
Yeah.
This is our second.
yeah. So it's good. It's good. But why don't we roll the footage
Yeah.
of you guys? Where in Holland?
Poland.
Poland, Holland, Japan.
Hey, before we roll
Poland,
that
on the
footage,
Oder River.
wait, before we roll that footage,
Somewhere not around here.
you have a MySpace It's on
Yes.
my. You guys can find you on
It's
MySpace.
With That End USA.
With That End USA.
With
in
That